Ladies and gentlemen, nobody knows exactly what crime President Trump committed. The Southern District of New York wants his financial records to see if he possibly committed a crime. What did this man do? Did he own private servers with top secret intelligence? Did he perhaps fall in love with an intelligence operative, being a congressman with access to classified data? Another Democratic Party controversy nobody hears anything about. Did he sell stocks, which is what Richard Burr and Dianne Feinstein did right before the pandemic, after being in a classified meeting talking about the U.S. economy, the future of our economy? What did this man do? I want to know. I want to know. Did he lie under oath and say, "Oh, I said what is"? I mean, come on now. I couldn't be more logical and rational. What did he do? Bill Clinton was impeached for perjury and obstruction of justice. Comey said that Hillary, there was no intent there. So the top secret data, the SAP intelligence on servers running outside of the United States government, where nobody knows how that data was transferred or migrated onto servers and computers outside of the U.S., outside of the cybersecurity apparatus that we have. Well, nobody knows. Did he engage in the types of things that Uma Abedin's husband did? What did this man do? Did he have taxi medallions that became worthless pretty much, and because of that had to engage in a whole bunch of fraud like Michael Cohen? So you have. I want to show you this right now. This is Deutsche Bank loaned over $2 billion to Trump. Report. This is March 18, 2019. They did so because his name, Trump, is a brand. It became like Kleenex or Xerox. It is a brand, and he had a real estate empire. He was on the Forbes wealthiest list since its first issue in 1982 with his father. The man was rich. Part of the hoax, part of the myths and fabricated absurd lies told about Trump was that he's not rich, he worked with Russia, he's really not, he has small hands. It's like they just want to tear him down because they're suspicious of him. But you can't be suspicious of the governor of New York, who, by the way, is now being investigated for his horrendous decision-making that directly led to the loss of life. That's not Trump's fault. That's Cuomo's fault, what happened in New York. And God bless the people of New York and New Jersey. We know what we know what Democrats did. President Biden specifically had a criminal report against him. A criminal report filed by Tara Reid. So we know what he's accused of doing. What did the Southern District is going after Trump? I haven't read exactly why. We don't know. They're trying to find out. Investigators are suspicious of it. Suspicious of what? Just so when he became president, he suddenly became racist, even though nobody ever accused him of that. Nobody ever accused him of that prior to 2015. And if you want to say, well, there was this, here, the Clintons have an infinitely greater history of racism. And that was overlooked by Democrats. Okay, look, they're going after President Trump for the following reasons, and I'll explain. Hit subscribe to this channel right this second. Get this segment viral. Go to hagoodman.com. You can read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, The Daily Caller, other publications. And if you want to support my voice long-term, to my Patreons, thank you so very much. Your support is greatly appreciated. If you want to support my voice long-term, my Patreon is below. They're going after him because they have nothing to talk about. They can't govern, or they govern in a manner that the far left and the left disagrees with. Okay? Democrats are about incremental change. They're not going to implement Medicare for all, Green New Deal legislation, universal basic income. They're not even going to push for an immigration plan, which would be fine with me. Like, I'm conservative on a bunch of issues, the Second Amendment. What drives me is I want Americans home from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. I want a scaled-back U.S. foreign policy, which is what President Trump did. It was a scaled-back U.S. foreign policy. If you say, well, he did this and this, yeah, it would have been worse. It was worse with President Obama. We had the Abraham Accords. We had the beginning of détente between North and South Korea with Trump, where President Moon Jae-in stated that Trump deserved the Nobel Peace Prize. I have to say certain things every single segment because they're trying to erase his accomplishments from history. And you know what? Thank God President Trump's not on Twitter, because Twitter did him no good. And it helped Democrats erase all his achievements. But that's why I say, I bring up the same accomplishments, renegotiating NAFTA into the USMCA, being the first president ever to sign an executive order combating anti-Semitism on college campuses, which is running rampant, which leads to the absurd revisionist history of AOC that I talk about in my Jerusalem Post op-ed. So check out my Jerusalem Post op-ed on AOC. It's on hagoodman.com, where Yad Vashem had to refute her revisionist claims. That doesn't happen often, but it did with AOC. But getting back to President Trump, why do you think... So Michael Cohen predicts tax investigation will end with jail time. No, it won't. It won't because they don't even have a crime. Haven't even accused Trump of a crime, and they don't know the real estate business in New York. So the real estate business in any city is extremely complicated, especially when you're building high rises and office buildings, and it's extremely complicated. And there are a million different things you can do in terms of... It's just extremely complicated. I mean, you have to have a good relationship with a bank, and Deutsche Bank gave him $2 billion, not only because of his name, Trump, so you don't even have to own a building. You can put the name Trump on a building, and he'll gain revenue from that. Or you can have The Apprentice, where he made, by one estimate, $220 million. But Cohen's prediction, this is the week, Cohen's prediction that Trump could wind up in jail came a few hours after the Supreme Court ruled Manhattan can obtain Trump's tax returns as part of it. So Cohen said he's not sure exactly what the documents may reveal, but was confident enough to claim it doesn't look good for Trump. Do you think that he only had one attorney? Michael Cohen had one purpose, okay? Maybe in terms of politics to help him out legally. And he was defending Trump until he was caught with his own financial problems. Then he turned. But see, Democrats don't see this. They're like, a KGB agent said that Trump was a Russian operative. Like, so you trust a KGB agent? Yes, we do. But aren't you working with the Putin? No, it's not working with Putin if it's against Trump. These people there's no logic or reason. They dislike his personality, and that's it. They don't even dislike his policies. Adam Kinzinger, by the way, the Never Trump Republican, voted 90.2% in line with President Trump. They don't dislike his policies. Okay? The Democratic Party doesn't stand for any policies. Look what you have President Biden now saving the Republic. What is he doing? He got us into the Paris Climate Accords? Wow, that's going to save the planet. No, it's not. What did he do that's transformative? That is an example of how he saved democracy. Nothing. But Cohen said he's not sure what exactly the documents may reveal. That's because nobody knows why they're going after him. This is the same with the Mueller probe. They didn't have a specific crime. They were investigating the possibility of a crime. With the Southern District and Cyrus Vance, they don't know why they're going after President Trump. They don't know. He got $2 billion from Deutsche Bank, but that's between him and Deutsche Bank. They say, well, he lied about his net worth. He lied about how much he's worth, and in the loans. You don't think Deutsche Bank already knew or had protocols in line? Like, if you're a normal human being who's just like not a billionaire, and you're getting a house loan, and you lie on the application, and you can't, and then the house gets foreclosed, you can get into trouble, okay? Or the lender could get into trouble. But he's a billionaire. He was on the Forbes wealthiest list since 1982. He has buildings across Manhattan and New York and the world. What do you want from what's the goal here? To find out that he lied to Deutsche Bank? Well, then why didn't Deutsche Bank inform the FBI? He had a decades-long relationship, and they loaned him $2 billion. You think that bank is stupid? They don't make money. They can't make money off of Trump. That they just did this because of Trump's Putin-esque stranglehold on them. They're not going to find anything. This is a public relations stunt, just like the Mueller probe. They found nothing in the Mueller probe. The Facebook ads didn't swing votes. Nobody said, oh God, I'm going to vote for Hillary. You know what? That Facebook ad is so compelling. I'm voting for Trump. Nobody had that mindset. Not one person swung a vote. Not one 4 years ago. But Democrats perpetuated that myth. And there was no pushback from the Republican Party because you have Jeff Sessions and Richard Burr and Paul Ryan and other. And then you had some Republicans spreading the Steele dossier. So what do you expect? If people say, look at this, and they say, oh my God, there's never any justice, and the whole thing is stacked against us. Well, yeah, you have Republicans. You have Republicans that that are part of this. So, I mean, Lindsey Graham met with Trump today, which was good, or the other day. But here, and so to create a strategy for 2022 here, Deutsche Bank loaned over $2 billion to Trump. Okay. Deutsche Bank reportedly loaned more than $2 billion to President Trump over multiple decades while he was a real estate developer. So you mean to tell me that one of the largest banks on the planet, in the largest city in the world, with the most brash and, larger than life billionaire investor and media personality, you mean to tell me that they're for decades just pumping billions into his companies, that there was this long history of fraud and or financial misconduct? So it's the Southern District of New York that spent a day investigating the Clinton Foundation with obvious millions flowing into the foundation and then beneficial treatment taking place, and then the Clintons pocketing not money from the entities or the Uranium One or governments or wealthy individuals, 85 donors giving $156 million, and they're just miraculously meeting. And then the rebuttal was, well, she met with more people. It's like, it's a racket. You can't see that? They're getting, they don't pay the Clintons in their pockets. What they do is they give money into the philanthropic foundation, and then through networking, they get speaking engagements, book deals, whatever. The speaking fees alone, they pocketed over $130 million from speaking engagements. What's Bill Clinton going to talk about? How to perform in a deposition? What's Hillary? What's Madam Secretary going to talk about? Her wonderful NATO intervention in Libya that turned it into a failed state. Why are they getting paid all that money? Oh, well, it's a networking scam and racket. That's what, in the campaign emails, the Clinton Foundation's own employees stated. Bill Clinton Inc. There's 500 conflicts of interest. But you think the Southern District is going to care? They don't care. The Southern District of New York is an extension of the Democratic Party. They're all liberal fanatics, just like the Mueller probe team. They are liberal Democrats who say, look, we have the opportunity now. We have pretty much all of media. We have a weakened Republican Party that won't speak with one voice. We have social media tech giants. And they still can't take down Trump. Because they're making things up. But here, the report, which details the history between Trump and the bank, comes as congressional committees and the New York attorney are investigating Trump's financial ties to the bank. Well, did the bank complain? If you commit fraud, the bank notifies the FBI or the Patriot Act protocols the bank will find out what you're doing. They're like, well, he lied about his assets. He lied about his money. It's like, well, the bank is not lending to Trump in the manner that they would lend to you or to any other millionaire. He's a billionaire. And he has a brand, Trump, like Kleenex and Xerox and whatever. Like, his name is part of Americana, whether you like it or not. All those liberals who dislike Trump, they were watching The Apprentice, okay? They were watching The Apprentice. When Trump was trying to get a loan from the bank to build a skyscraper in Chicago, he reportedly said his net worth was $3 billion. The bank, however, reportedly concluded that he was worth about $788 million. Oh my God, this is a million times worse than top secret intelligence floating around the planet because somebody decided to use servers to hide Clinton Foundation emails. Wow, this is so much worse than falling in love with an intelligence operative while you're a congressman who has access to classified data. This is so much worse than selling stocks right before the financial collapse. Gee, how did you find out? I mean, we can go on. Also, it's like there is a lot of potential crimes that they sweep under the rug. Maybe they concluded his financial net worth was lower because of the leverage, where he had to, because you have to borrow a great deal of money. Oftentimes, you don't own the entire building or most of the building. You own a portion of the building, and you make proceeds from it, and you have there's complicated ways of generating wealth from real estate. So there you go. You're not going to own all. If Trump says I own 40 buildings around the world, he doesn't own all of those buildings. He's in debt more so than what he owns. So the bank says, yeah, you know what? You're not really worth $3 billion. You're worth $788 million when you factor in all the debt you owe, because of that's the nature of real estate, not because of compromise from Putin. A compromise from Putin. I mean, they believe the biggest fairy tales and tinfoil hats, nonsense, and then they're the ones who are like, we have to save this country from Trump. Well, do you like the country better now? Well, I don't know. Nothing's changed. I know. President Biden is here. Has he saved the democracy? Yeah. He's totally saved the democracy. By the way, be here tonight. I have a live stream. It'll probably be around 7 p.m. This evening, so be here. But the bank still agreed in 2005 to lend Trump more than $500 million. That was the bank's decision. None of the Southern District's decision, but whatever. You think the bank is also going to say, yeah, we actually engaged in criminal behavior by shielding Trump? You think the bank defending itself will be defending Trump? That's another hilarious thing of all of hilarious element. You think the bank wants to admit that it's shielding Trump because of Putin's grip, his whatever. Years later, in 2010, Trump again turned to Deutsche Bank his loan. He attempted to buy Doral Golf Resort and Spa for $100 million. The bank again reportedly determined that Trump was exaggerating his wealth. That's okay, yeah. With time included his real estate up to overvalued some of his real estate possessions up to 70%. Okay, so that's a deliberate scheme, or is it just a difference in terms of what something's worth? You have to prove like there was this nefarious intent with a bank that gave him $2 billion for decades. You're not going to prove that, and that's not even a crime. He's a unique case. He's not like just an individual that lies on a bank application. Yes, if you're just a regular person and you lie on a bank application, yes. Number one, he didn't lie because he's trying. Many billionaires or many real estate moguls will say, "Hey, the valuation is I don't agree with the valuation, and I'm actually worth more." And then the bank will say, "Well, not really because of the leverage." Nonetheless, the bank approved both that loan and another loan of $48 million for the same Chicago scare he had financed in 2005. The bank also reportedly determined in 2014 that Trump exaggerated his wealth. He was looking at to bid for the NFL Buffalo Bills. Wow, okay, so he exaggerated his wealth, or he truly felt that he was worth more than what the bank thought. But the bank their negotiations always take place with banks and wealthy individuals. Trump can say, what are you talking about? You're valuing, this golf resort at this price? It's worth much more. They can go back and forth. That doesn't mean he's going to go into the, step foot in the big house. Look. If you live in New York, your money is going to go to just trying to take down President Trump. While you have a governor who's under investigation for doing the most despicable actions. Just like, you have the New York governor, you have the Lincoln Project, who they've imploded with their immoral. You talking about the Lincoln Project was used as the moral foundation against Trump. They're the most immoral people on the planet. So you have like this warped sense of morality by liberal Democrats who will judge and defend others as they engage in worse. These are the televangelists of our time, ladies and gentlemen. Give me your thoughts below. Be here tonight at around 7 p.m. Pacific for the live stream. Thank you so very, very much.